celebrate the 50th anniversary of 007, we're taking a look back at the best Bond video games. Here is our top 5. Number 5. James Bond 007, Game Boy. Okay, at first glance, this game might look more like a Pokemon game than a Bond game, but give it a chance. James Bond 007 is a top-down action-adventure game and was one of the last games released for the original Game Boy. The gameplay is similar to earlier Zelda games and requires you to use a wide mix of weaponry and gadgets in order to advance. The story brings you around the world as you attempt to track down a secret weapons cache. Along the way, you'll run into familiar foes including Oddjob, who is a serious pain to fight, and Jaws. Sprinkles of funny Bond innuendos and casino minigames are also nice touches. James Bond 007 can be quite challenging at times. Solving some of the puzzles will involve a lot of backtracking and talking to every person around to figure out the next step. Hidden items are not visible on the screen and will require you to punch around entire rooms to find them. Also, ammo is annoyingly hard to amass and quick to go through, and taking on armed enemies with your bare hands is going to lead to a lot of deaths. If you're looking for a different Bond experience, give this one a go. Number 4. 007, Bloodstone for PS3 and Xbox 360. From the old to the new, 007 Bloodstone is the most recent Bond game to be released. This third-person shooter is the best example to date of a fluid, next-generation Bond game. At times the game is visually stunning, and the inclusion of the voice and likeness of Daniel Craig gave the game an added realism. The gameplay, while not very innovative, is definitely solid. The game features a focus aim system similar to the Mark and Execute feature from Splinter Cell Conviction. This is fun and works well, but at times makes the game feel a little bit too easy. A large portion of the game is spent on driving missions that are fast-paced and well executed. The game creators' Bizarre Creations, known for Project Gotham Racing, definitely play to their strength. Bloodstone features an original story that takes place sometime after the events of Quantum of Solace. The twisting narrative sends Bond around the world in search for research, or bioterrorists, or something. Though elaborate, the story is uninspired and falls flat. The multiplayer and online mode, usually a staple component of Bond games, feels like an afterthought. With all that said, 007 Bloodstone is still far and away the best-looking Bond game ever created, and with a bit more creativity, might have been something truly special. Number 3. James Bond 007, Nightfire for PS2, Xbox, and GCN. 5 years after the release of GoldenEye for the N64, there was finally a James Bond game that could rival its brilliance. After a series of lackluster titles, Nightfire was anything but. The game mixes first-person stages with some driving and rail shooter stages. The graphics are solid, and though Pierce Brosnan's voice isn't featured, his likeness is well represented in the character. The controls are tight and the stages are fun to play through. The story is another original created just for the game and is very well executed. You will find yourself actually caring about how everything plays out. The multiplayer is also very solid. These were the pre-online days, so it's all split-screen action, but that's how Bond should be. The stages are varied, and there is a number of playable and unlockable characters. Most importantly, the experience is a lot of fun and manages to keep the GoldenEye feel with more modern controls and graphics. Number 2. 007, Everything or Nothing for PS2, Xbox, and GCN. While Nightfire did a great job of emulating GoldenEye, Everything or Nothing does a great job of separating itself from it. While not the first Bond game to use a third-person perspective, it is the first one to do it well. The game uses a lock-on system that focuses on targets and then can be adjusted with the right stick to hit specific parts of the body. It introduces Bond Sense, which allows the players to slow down the game and see the world as Bond does. The story isn't based on any Bond book or film, but you would be hard-pressed to notice. Throughout the game, you really feel like you're playing a movie. For the first time, Pierce Brosnan lends his voice to the game, along with Judi Dench and John Cleese. There is even an original Bond opening and song for the game created by Maya. Everything or Nothing has immaculate presentation and is, from top to bottom, a true James Bond experience. Number 1. GoldenEye 007 for N64. Goosebumps don't lie. GoldenEye 007 is a masterpiece and one of the most iconic video games of all time. It is arguably the launching pad of the first-person shooter and the precursor to the Call of Duty Halo phenomenon we see today. Its greatest revolution was its 4-player multiplayer mode that allowed 4 friends to duke it out in a number of unforgettable levels. The game options may seem limited by today's standards, but at the time, it was the most robust multiplayer experience around. The level design is creative and allows for a number of different ways to do battle. Who doesn't remember booby-trapping the crap out of facility with proximity mines? Or trying desperately to lower their aimer to the annoyingly short Oddjob before he could take you out with his deadly hat. Each game was truly a memorable experience. The single-player mode is no slouch either. It features semi-open world levels for you to explore as you complete unique mission objectives. The game has 3 difficulty settings with specific missions added to the harder ones so that the game is an appropriate challenge for all skill types. The story closely follows the film narrative and takes Vaughn to the many locals featured in the movie. Even some of the more annoying aspects of the gameplay are memorable. Escorting Natalia, for example, we should go to the main control room. Though the graphics and controls may feel archaic by today's standards, the game is still remarkably fun to play. Even 15 years later, with all the advancements there have been in video game technologies, no Bond game has come close to surpassing GoldenEye's brilliance. Coming soon. James Bond video game fans finally have a new game to get excited about. As part of the 007 50th anniversary celebrations, Activision is releasing 007 Legends on October 16th. The game is built on the same engine as the 2011 recreation of GoldenEye and will feature 6 missions, 1 from each of the 6 actors' eras. The game trailers look pretty awesome, and this will most likely be a must-have for Bond enthusiasts. Make sure to check out myETVmedia.com for more video game coverage.